think this is working. Should be working. Hello, YouTube. This is a live stream. We are going to be doing a reaction to the dev stream that just came out. But we gotta get the stream started first. Yes, there was a dev stream which they haven't done in a long time. We will go over it. Steph, what's up? We're gonna do the YouTube stream a little differently today. We're gonna try to do something a little more what's the word? Advanced, maybe. We're gonna try to do something a little more advanced for the YouTube stream. So bear with me. Victor, how's it going? Internet is working. I am Spanky, yes. No, Victor, no. No. Quick, go watch the VODs. Here's what happens. My microphone. I need a new arm. It doesn't stay. You did already? Oof, oof, oof. Elray, how's it going? Oof. Well, I don't know what else. Well, maybe whenever that update for Twitch comes out, where you can catch up to your stream streak by watching VODs or clips. Maybe that's not out yet. And maybe when it is out, you can go back then and then watch the stream, watch the VODs then. And then it'll save it. I don't know. Hopefully. Unfortunate. Blood, how's it going? Oh, the timer. Hey, look, we have a timer now. I made a timer. Boom. Look, oh no, what the fuck is that? What the hell is that? Get that out of there. What the hell? Come on, dude. Hang on a second. What the hell is that? Hold. There we go. All right, we're good. There we go. I got a timer now. Oh no, Victor. No. Oh shit. Skip-a-thon timer, yeah. I know we like timers around here, you know? So I was like, that's a good idea right there. Oh no, Victor. Iron Dragon, what's happening? Oh man. So there was a dev stream that came out. They haven't done a dev stream in a very long time. And they decided to do one for whatever reason. And they talked about, you know, what's coming in the next 2.4 update. Ignore the minutes and the hour. Just skip right away. They did a dev stream going over update 2.4 and stuff that they're doing, I guess, and we're gonna watch it. we're gonna give it a watch because maybe they fixed the game, dude. You never know. You never know. Maybe it's fixed. Maybe it's fixed. Never know. Excited to see my outlook on this. Yeah, I saw a couple little things. Where's David? I don't know, dude. Good question. Eric Moore, how's it going, dude? Some people. Pumpkin Spice, thank you for 100 bits. Thank you very much. Stop giving you false hope. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We will see. I saw a couple of little screenshots of the changes that they're doing, and I don't know. Questionable. But that's all I saw. I didn't see everything. So we'll see. Some people theorize that David is no longer at Crytek. I have no idea. Lag compensation? You watched the video I made 3 months ago? Is this game running better at all? Nope. Nope. On that sort of topic, no, I don't think they've changed anything. All right, do we just jump into it? What are we doing? Jumping right in? You haven't played in 8 months? I don't think you're missing much, to be honest. Maybe I'm biased, but I think you're not really missing much. For whatever reason you left in the first place, like, probably still a valid reason to leave. That wasn't working for you and you asked that, and you heard a sound, you didn't see it. So I've been, all right, quick update on my caffeine withdrawal situation. I have been drinking, during the subathon, I was drinking so much coffee. It was not even a lot. I was drinking like half pot of coffee a day, which isn't crazy. Maybe it's a lot, but it's not like crazy. Every day, pretty much every day during the subathon, I would have coffee. So I am absolutely trained on caffeine. and now I have, if I don't have caffeine, I have like literal withdrawals where I'm actually vomiting. I'm not joking. Mishkas, what's up, dude? So I need caffeine, and I got to a point where I just did not feel like drinking coffee at all. Literally, yeah, actually vomiting, yeah. Like, if I don't have caffeine, I throw up. It's really weird. Terrible headache, terrible body ache, and I literally vomit because I don't have caffeine. But I also really did not want to drink coffee. Like, I just didn't feel like drinking coffee, you know? So I went to the store and got a bunch of different energy drinks. It's all sugar-free stuff, sugar-free Red Bull. This is tea that has caffeine in it. 2 different kinds of teas. And then I have sugar-free Monster too. Andrew, thank you for the 5 stream streak. Appreciate it. I'm not matcha, no, but this is something else I've never heard of before this. Yerba? Oh. This? Yerba? Got a little, I showed this the other day. It's got weird little like characters on it with like weird ass faces and stuff. I don't know. It's got 160 milligrams of caffeine in it, so what I need. Haven't had time to watch. I haven't played since January, so you're out of the loop. But are they doing a 3-month event? Yes, yes they are. Jitty, how's it going, dude? Your PC died, or you'd be playing. If you're looking for a new Ryzen CPU, do not buy an ASRock motherboard. They fixed the issue of killing the CPU. They lied. They said they fixed the issue of killing the CPU, and they lied. Oh shit. Oh, ask for a detox agent. That's not a bad idea, actually. You like a lot of the updates, but still not your main game. Might just be a let's get on with friends game. Makes sense. Tastes like dirt. Oh well, it tastes good to me. Maybe I like dirt. All right, we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this and see what this new update is all about.
Of the same coin.
See.
Hey everyone, hey chat, and welcome to a developer live stream for update 2.4 and the judgment of the full event. And you just saw the awesome trailer for the event, so I hope you all enjoyed it. And I'm here with the one and only design director for Hunt, Dennis.
Hi, how's it going?
It's so nice to see you all. We are live from our headquarters from Frankfurt. This is one of the first test streams that we do after a long time, and it's a completely new setup, so please let us know how you like it and what you would like to see in the future. But I think we can say that we are both super happy to finally be here and talk about all the amazing changes in the event. So Dennis, what do you think we dive into it and go through all the event, all the updates? We have so much in store for you all, so let's do it.
Let's go for it.
It's been a while, so
everybody's here.
Yeah, if you're a bit rusty, don't hate on us. And yeah, I must mention that we will have a Q&A segment at the very end of the stream. So our moderators and community managers are in the chat, lurking
Andrew,
and collecting your questions, and we will try to answer as much as we can at the end. Dude, and of course, after the stream, we will look through forums.
I was gonna say he seems like a little puppy, you know, like I don't know, just happy to be anywhere.
Reddit, you know, in the comment sections on social media, where by the way you should totally follow us, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitch, and we will try to get back to you as much as possible, and hopefully we will have more dev streams in the future.
Absolutely.
And even more community related streams where we can talk to you more directly.
Cool.
So let's do it. Let's dive into it and let's see the update.
Ooh.
Yes, so obviously this is not just the judgment of the full event, which is coming on Wednesday, but also update 2.4. And yeah, as I said, we have a lot in store for you, so let's talk about it.
3-month-long event.
Oh, yes. As you mentioned already, it starts
from June 18th, which is like when the update goes live. Event starts, which is like only 2 days from now.
Yeah, and I think it's Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Wednesday, yeah. And then we run until September 17th. So that gives you quite a lot of time to go through the whole thing.
And as always, we have a brand new battle pass with the event with a premium and free progression, and you will have 40 rewards in that, which includes 3 skins, a bunch of weapon skins, weapon charms, inspect animations.
JD, thank you for the 355 stream streak.
And it's gonna be super awesome. But we did
big ass streak. Thank you, dude.
Progression. So Dennis, could you tell us about that?
Yes. So this event is running a little bit longer, and we're talking about like 13 weeks. Rather, what you do now is you have a few more points you can earn per week, but a lot more weeks to run through. We've also used that to kind of update the challenges a little bit. So we heard the feedback from our in-between time with God Not Rich. We have 5 challenges now. instead of the 6 we had before. One of them is obviously reserved for the premium track. However, the total amount of blood points you can earn will still be 50, because one of those 4 free ones will also give you 20 instead of 10 BBs, so everybody can still kind of get the same rewards as they used to. And then overall the event is a lot more relaxed because you earn a lot more points from the challenges, and that means you can just like spend more time in the event, play through at your own pacing. And I think the goal for us is that more people should be able to complete this, and I think the longer duration helps a lot. So we've heard the feedback about this one, and
is that what they said in the last
I think is very, very
survey? I don't remember.
Feedback is still super important for us. So just let us know how you feel about the changes, and we will adjust on the after the event and
Absolutely.
for future events
As always.
But it's not just the event that starts on Wednesday, but we have a brand new Twitch drop campaign that goes until July 9th after the start of event. So players will have multiple weeks to earn. And can you tell us like what's in Twitch drop? So
Yes, so we started the Twitch drop campaign right from the beginning, and like we intentionally made it a longer campaign this time around. So we want people to come back. We want people to enjoy the new Desalle, which we're going to talk about.
I don't think
later in the
that's
stream.
we'll see how it's structured exactly, but just as far as I saw, we'll wait for their full confirmation of all the details and shit. But it was like it's gonna be like more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks of Twitch drops, and you need to watch 2 hours for this thing, you need to watch 2 hours for another thing, and you need to watch 2 hours for another thing. People are the vast majority of the time, once people have their stuff, they're gone. They're not coming back. I guess it gives people, like different people, more opportunity, because it's not just like 1 week. And if you happen to not be paying attention, you might miss it because you didn't know it was that week or something. But you know, that's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know. We'll see what they say.
And we do have a new.
By the way, I'm not gonna be doing any crazy super streams just for hunt Twitch drops. By the way, we're gonna be playing some. Some hunt a little bit every day, and then we're gonna go play the finals or whatever other game we choose to play. But I'm not gonna be doing any 12-hour long hunt streams. I do not plan on doing that. So.
That you want new rewards and also a charm. And people can earn those as they go through and at their own time. Watch the partners, watch other people, have a good fun time there, and get the rewards at their own pacing.
And actually, that you mentioned the rewards, you can already go to huntshowdown.com/Twitch drops and check. I think the new packs out and the charm on it, and there's also information about how to link your account. So please make sure that you first of all link your account on our website, and then also the platform through Twitch if you haven't already, and then you should be able to earn all the rewards. And of course on the website you can also find all the FAQs or questions you may have regarding the Twitch drops. And I have to say that since we mentioned this is a longer event, we will have more stuff in store for the community and more surprises during the event that we cannot just tell yet. So please keep an eye out for those, but I can promise you that it won't be a boring event.
There will be so many exciting things there. So yeah, stay tuned for more information on like those.
What does that mean?
There's gonna be a couple things.
What the heck does that mean?
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about those more. But let's dive into the event mechanics a bit, starting with the pledge mark. So how do you earn them?
So what we do is we follow the structure from previous events where we have event points as a main driver. So you're gonna do certain actions in the game, like for example, play the objective, kill certain special monsters. We also have the Orwellian effigies come back from a previous event. You can find scattered throughout the world, and you can kind of kill those, destroy those, and therefore get your event points. Now, event points allow you to earn pledge marks. Every 25 event points, you get one pledge mark, as in previous events. In addition to that, we have in Bounty Clash and Soul Survivor different rules for that. So you get like 3 for winning in Soul Survivor and 2 if you do the banish in Bounty Clash. So there's other ways for you to get to them, but normally you just play, and you can obviously also be lucky and kill some other players, or maybe they had some on them and you steal from them as well. So all these mechanics that we've had in previous events,
lucky and kill other players,
giving you full control about cool rewards that you can get that way.
Right, and you mentioned pledge marks.
Jason Voorhees DLC.
Brand new place in the event.
Yes.
That's called the Fool's Hideout, and it's very connected to pledge marks as well. And I think players may have seen it already in the trailer.
Yeah,
but
let me guess. It's a thing like the circus, but not as complex as the circus. That is just like a bunker in the ground that has all the stuff there.
yeah, let's talk about this new location and what players can do here.
So similar to what we had with resupplies and also like the circus in the previous events, we do have this new location. So we call it the Fool's Hideout. You might have seen this a little bit in the trailer we just showed at the beginning. And what it does is basically it adds a new 17th type of special location besides our normal compounds that you can kind of find. There's like, I think 3 locations per map, so they will be randomized a little bit. And over there you find lots of like unique rewards, like in previous events as well. Like this is where you find exclusives that are only there for the event duration, and some of the like evergreen, old familiar pledge rewards and seal rewards that you can obtain from there. So it's a really cool new location, and we have a couple of new exclusive things to be found there as well. So on one hand, we have the new Trade Wager Spur. This is something we talk about in a second.
Yes.
And then we have the Catalyst Trade, which we'll also talk about in a second as a new thing. And alongside that, we have the return of some of the the old familiar ones. So we're bringing back 2 trades from previous events, which we can talk about in a second.
Yeah, so you of course mentioned
I think the Wager Spur is like you use it and you get a random trait. It's sort of like the Scam Box. Remember the Scam Box in the Post Malone event, where you'd use it and you'd get a random thing? You could get a random trait, you could get cash and other stuff. Now this is just a thing that gives you a random trait. And then there is also a trait that like boosts your existing traits. Certain traits get
a new,
like additional abilities.
Wager Spur, and the Catalyst. So what are those? Let's see what we can tell about those.
So the Trade Wager Spur is basically a random trait. What it means is, though, you find it at the Fool's Hideout location, and when you interact with it for 1 pledge mark, and you can do multiple of these interactions, it gives you 1 random trait. So you can kind of like gamble a little bit in terms of like, oh, which ones do I get? If you have some for example, pledge mark that you took from enemies.
It's not that complex and exciting, Dennis. It's literally just you just get a trait, man. You just get a random trait. It's not, I don't know if people are salivating at the mouth to get a random trait. It's just a trait.
So you can kind of like gamble a little bit in terms of like, oh, which ones do I get?
Oh my God, what am I gonna get?
For example,
It's just a trait, bro.
From enemies, etc., and you want to spend them. So this is similar to like the fortune teller machine. It's just very focused on the traits this time around. So that's a unique thing that you find just at the central location, just at the Fool's Hideout.
Yeah, and there was another thing you mentioned, the Catalyst trait. So what is that?
So Catalyst trait combines the
Savage Goon, what's up?
trait conditional effects that we've had in previous events under one umbrella. So now we have one trait, the Catalyst trait. If you have that, it unlocks all of these conditional abilities on other traits that you have on your hunter. So Catalyst on its own doesn't really do anything. But having it alongside the other traits gives you then special abilities. So there's a couple of old familiar ones, like for example the Beast Face I can mention as an example, where you're being completely ignored by the dogs, the horses, etc. So it's a very strong trait, but you need the other traits, so it acts as a catalyst.
Okay, so for me, the cost of traits. Here's why again this is for me, my opinion. Why getting a random trait doesn't excite me. To me, the cost of traits, if we go look over here, if we go look at my hunter, the cost of traits, look, my entire trait list is full. All of these are full, and I still have a bunch of leftover points. The cost of the traits isn't the barrier. It's the fact that you only have 15 trait slots to begin with. So getting a random trait, and possibly one that you aren't going to care about, just takes up a slot that you're going to probably end up removing anyway. And then, okay, maybe the benefit of that is you get more points, but you already get so many points that like, it doesn't matter. And like also with Catalyst, now there's another trait that goes in there that you're going to have to make space for. You're going to have to give up one of these traits in order for Catalyst. I mean, yeah, you can bring fanning or whatever, but like, that's not, to me, that's not like, I don't know. That that to me, maybe that's the way I play or linked to whatever the how often I win or something, and I get a bunch of points. I don't know. That's something I've noticed with me and traits a bunch lately. Is it's not the cost of the trait, it's the fact that there is limited trait slots. And that's not me saying that there should be more trait slots. I'm just saying that's like how I view the traits, and why getting some random trait for free doesn't do anything for me, because the like scarcity is how many trait slots I have to begin with.
In order to allow you to get like the additional benefits from it. So it's a really cool new addition, and it's an interesting way for us to, rather than having this as we had in the past on a per pact basis, some of them, now you can basically have all of them combined, but you need Catalyst.
And I think that one of the most exciting ones is the fanning change. So
Oh yeah.
let's see what fanning does with Catalyst.
Yeah, so with fanning, we're introducing a new conditional effect for this event, where if you have Catalyst attached, we also allow you to fan from the 2-slot single action revolvers. Now, what that means is that any of those pistols with a stock attached to it, or also the Haymaker as a big 2-handed handgun, all of those rather basic pistols now have an additional close quarter defense by giving you a chance to fan with them. Obviously, that fanning is slower than, for example, with the one-handed weapon. But we're talking about fanning from a more stable firing platform, because stabilization, right? So you have a bit more control about it. So it's a trade-off between the speed of fanning versus like the amount of screen kick it has, and therefore makes it a bit more controllable. But the output is not quite the same as for a single.
Oh boy! So if you have a stocked pistol, oh boy! So more controlled fanning. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! That's gonna be interesting. Allows for interesting new loadout combinations for your playstyle. What?
One.
Yeah, and like how will it change gameplay, or what do you expect for playstyles?
So
More spam.
That's an excellent question, Vance. Now, the important piece here really is that by it affecting primarily the medium slot loadouts, we see, or we hope to see, a lot more loadout combinations. Like, so you could bring, for example, the bow as one medium slot, and then you just bring the Haymaker, and you still have some close quarter defense with the fanning if you have Catalyst.
How would you bring bow Haymaker?
At the same time, like, we expect people to kind of like experiment a little bit more with like these type of loadouts, but obviously it's also interesting for Quartermaster. Because you can kind of bring like another backup weapon. If you're, for example, playing a rifle or a sniper or whatever, you can have a pistol as a backup, and that gives you a close quarter defense with fanning as well. Adds a 2-slot, so it's still more precise.
Savage Goon, thank you for the 10 stream streak.
Right. I mean, it sounds very fun, and we cannot wait to see how players enjoy it and what they think about it. And now that we talked about all these cool new event mechanics, let's just like look at the lore very slightly to what players can expect and what is the event about. So, first of all,
I thought it said Garden of the Witch has failed. Oh shit.
part of Tarot trilogy, right?
Yes. So this is the second installment of our Tarot installment or trilogy, and like we have a couple of new things happening here. So if you can go to the next one, we have the Fool as one of the main antagonists. So he was once known as Doc Red Martin. You might know him from a legendary weapon that we've had float around for some time. So he has done some things which are not so nice, like poison some people, try to make some profit out of their misery. He is on the run now, and the person that tries to bring him to justice is the Pale Judge. Now, he has a personal motivation in there as well, because his daughter was one of them that got killed by the events that happened. So he is a bit of on a revenge trip, but also obviously he's part of the government, part of the law, and trying to bring him down. And yeah,
this is for all the lore enjoyers.
In addition to that, we have Dorothy Ellis, and Dorothy is a bit of a wild card. Like, she's supporting the Fool, and she's one of the survivors from the Ellis Farm incident from way back. So we're going to be interested to see like what
thing we all know about
role will be in the whole thing as the drama unfolds.
Right. Let's take a look at her as well.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you know, like you mentioned, the big conflict between the Judge and the Fool, and I wonder how that will turn out, and maybe there's gonna be some more fun regarding it in the future.
Yes.
But that's it for the lore recap, and let's look at the big gameplay changes. And
Oh my gosh. Okay, my prediction. My prediction for this is it's just a meathead variant. I don't think it's gonna drop a bounty. I don't think it's gonna be like you know, a wandering boss or a roaming target, wild target, whatever they call that. I think it's literally just gonna be a meathead variant, and it's gonna maybe it'll be out in the forests and not near compounds or something, but I don't think it's gonna be like a boss.
Is the brute. Let's see a short video of it first. And after that we can talk about what it does. In a second.
Nope. Oh my gosh, it's the bear from the last event. Like this like cinematic 360 drone footage. Bro.
All right, so that's the new AI, the brute. And what can you tell us about it? Like, we teased it, we showed it.
Yeah, so you might remember Mortis. Mortis has moved away with the circus, but the corruption never stops. So new things in the world have been infected. So the corruption never sleeps. And in this case, we now have the brute
out in the forest areas of the map.
Yeah, bear entity. And it does all the things that you would expect. Like, it's very aggressive. It's like has the type of shriek attack that we've known from Mortis already. And what's very interesting about it is that you will find it mostly in forest areas. So we're talking about an enemy that we will find primarily in the in-between areas where normally we don't have that much of a presence. So that's going to be interesting as you...
Wait, what? We don't have that much of a presence? We don't have immolators and hives and like 7 packs of dogs already? Like in the in-between areas? What are you talking about?
That you will have come across that in locations that normally you thought could actually be a nice safe spot, like a safe spot, like a refuge for you. And you now might not be alone in that.
Sounds awesome. And since we talked about the event and we already mentioned the hideout, we can actually also show you the hideout. So we have 2 videos to showcase how it looks, because as we said, you've seen it in the trailer, but we want to give you a more cinematic look at it as well.
Oh my gosh, more cinematics? Now. Can I get that 360 drone footage, please? Here we go. Let me see it. There it is, look at it! Oh my gosh. Oh yay. Oh my gosh, that's where you're gonna put all your traps right there. Yes. Oh. Yep, we know those folders. We've seen those before. We know. Yep, we know those. Yep. Thank you.
So as you can see, like the Fool's Hideout has like this interior section underneath where you'll find all the cool rewards that we have. I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of those traits as well that are returning. For example, we have Gunrunner comeback. We have Corpseer trait comeback besides the Rager Spur.
Yes,
and,
I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to the double explosive crossbow event for 3 months.
Will be found guaranteed in that location, just like the envelopes you've seen. So whenever you go there to the hideout, you'll always have these cool rewards there. But you can also find some of those randomly, like at supply points or in the towers as usual, if you're lucky and explore the map. So there's still going to be lots of things around there. As you've seen, like the Fool's Hideout basically has like an outer ring out of wagons. And then we have the central keep, I'm going to call it now, with a little tower. And underneath that, this is where you kind of enter and you find all these cool rewards. So it's going to be interesting how people can use it as a fortified position. Like, it's not safe to be in that area because everybody's going to go there, but you do have some space there in order to kind of make it your hideout and defend it against people you near.
Yeah, we can expect a lot of fun fights there. Yeah. I think it's going to be very fun, but I can't wait to see how it turns out.
I'm never going there.
With that, we do have a lot of changes with combat and balance. So
Combat
let's talk
balance
about
changes.
how
Oh boy,
combat-
let's see how let's see what their priority is for balancing. Let's see.
Let's actually play and what's new in this update.
Yes, so let's go through step by step. This will be the fun section, obviously. Like
Your favorite,
gameplay
yeah.
is always great.
Your
I love
favorite, yeah.
gameplay. We have done a couple of changes. I'm going step by step. The first one is that you can now pick up tool traps. So if you brought some bear traps, if you brought like a concealment trap, and you place them, and then the enemy team just goes completely differently, like a different direction, you can actually dismantle those, which you could do before, but you had to leave them behind. Now they go back in your inventory if you have space for them.
So we'll get more traps. If you put down your traps in a bad place, bro. Oh my gosh. Before what you had to do was think a little carefully. You had to think a little carefully about where you wanted to put all your traps, because you once you put them down, you couldn't put them back in your inventory and you had to commit to it. But now, if you put all your traps down somewhere and the other team just fucks off, you can just pick them all up again and carry them all over to somewhere else and put them down again. So we get more traps. If you thought that we didn't have enough traps in your games before, well, now there's gonna be more traps now. Pro, how's it going, dude? Oh my gosh. Wow. So number one combat balance change is make it so that more traps are used and traps are even more viable. Wow. 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 Wow.
So that means you can kind of like bring them along, set them up in a different location. It just makes it a bit more tactical for how you want to use those. So it's not just the first chance, and then if whatever fight doesn't happen, you kind of like left them all behind. That always feels a bit sad. So you have a bit more options there. So I think that's something which is really, really cool and have been asked for quite a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I heard this so many times. But why don't we just take a look at it and see how players can pick it up?
Rather straightforward. Obviously, you need the space in your inventory, but you can also pick up other people's traps if you have
Awesome.
brought the traps.
Well, guess what? That is not something that I wanted. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Number one thing is more traps, and wow. Okay, well.
To begin with, and you have some charges empty at the moment. So
Well, sadly, it doesn't apply to me because I always run into them anyway.
I hear that a lot from many different people.
Especially if they are next to red barrels. Yeah. But we also made a small change to Dark Dynamite section.
Yes.
So what's with those?
So we looked at the usage of the Dark Dynamite satchel, and while this is a great addition, it wasn't quite there yet where we wanted it to be. So one of the problems we identified was it was just a bit too easy to pick it up, just a bit too easy to figure out where it is in the world. And,
Wait, what?
Therefore,
Okay, he didn't mean literally pick it up. He didn't okay, he meant pick up as in like detect where it is.
the chance for it to succeed in blowing you up was rather slim. So one of the changes we've done is kind of make it a little bit more subtle in the world. You can still listen to it. Obviously, it still shows up in Vigilant, and you have a chance to kind of see it across the different tools we give you as a player, but it is no longer as loud as it used to be. So,
Side note, I wouldn't put this at these two things. This is straight up trap buffs. This is passive scared player trap buffs right here. These first two things, I don't know what else is going to pop up, but these are two things that absolutely I wouldn't really put under combat. Maybe they mean combat as in like two people fighting, but combat, this is not my thought process of what combat is. This is trap buffs. These are trap buffs.
hopefully a bit more success in actually placing it in ambush situations. And as a player, you need to be even more careful now, Benz.
Yeah, of course. And this is one of the many audio changes we introduced in this update, but why don't you just listen to it and watch how this works? So, with your ears, everyone.
Oh god.
Yep, rather convenient.
Right, and now we talked about noise, so let's talk about the silencer changes.
Yeah. So as you remember in update 2.3, we talked about the silencers and how we
Silencers are now silencers are now less penalized for compact / medium. So the penalty for silencers was what, 10% less damage? 10% less damage. So now this is a buff for silent, compact, and medium weapons.
The damage pieces around them. Most of it was in response for addressing the crack silencer, which turned out to be a massive success, but also a very powerful weapon. The balancing we've been doing has been very global and like universal, and obviously some of the weapons which might not have needed a nerf were affected by it. So we did another pass on that based on the feedback, and what we have now is that the long ammo is basically reducing the damage by 10%, which is the change we had before. However, medium and compact ammo is now only reduced by 5%. So there's still a reduction. We just kind of be a bit more separate about it based on the ammo types, and we are more targeted in the way that we can address specifically the crack silencer that has suffered the most. One thing that is important to understand though is like we look at the data side of things, and the usage of the silenced weapons actually didn't change that drastically. The important piece, however...
So then why are you doing this? So then why are you buffing them? What the fuck?
Is that the usage of the crack silencer, that's the one that really changed. So even though it was an unfair change in 2.3, it still did what we were hoping it would do, which is reduce and cut down on the usage of the crack silencer, bring it a bit more down to a reasonable level. It did that without necessarily completely removing all the other silencers, but all of them went down just a little bit in usage. Keep in mind, we also introduced the 1865 silencer at the same time, so there was a bit of a redistribution happening as well. But we feel this is now in a healthy spot, and obviously with the new updates, the compact and medium weapons are not suffering as extremely as they did in 2.3.
Yeah, sounds awesome. And again, we look forward to your feedback about this as well, because it's a bigger balance change. And I see that we changed the fast finger trait. We reduced the cost of it.
Fast finger reduced from 6 to 4. So originally fast fingers came out as 4, right? I think it originally came out as 4, and then for some reason everyone was confused why they changed it from 4 to 6. Now they're changing it back to 4. So I don't know why they originally made that change. I never thought fast fingers was so super strong that like they needed to make it go from 4 to 6. But they're changing their mind. Okay. All right. I mean, I'm fine with that. I was using fast fingers for the sparks for a good bit.
What was appreciated as a trade, it might have been a bit too expensive, so we kind of brought it down from 6 to 4 points, which feels a bit more reasonable now in terms of where it sits.
I wish they gave a little more reasoning. Let me go back a little bit, because I don't think they gave any actual reasoning. They were just like, yeah, we thought it was too expensive. Like, yeah, that's what everybody thought. That's what everybody thought.
Because it's a bigger balance change. And I see that we changed the fast finger trait. We reduced the cost of it.
Yes, so there's also something where while it was appreciated as a trade, it might have been a bit too expensive, so we kind of brought it down from 6 to 4 points, which feels a bit more reasonable now in terms of where it sits, especially now since we did a change in 2.3 that you have these 10 points from the start. It becomes a lot more viable as a building block of your Start Hunter if you want to, for example, use the Springfield or the Sparks, etc., and have the trade right off the out of the box, and still be able to bring up some other like interesting traits at the same time.
Right, and one big change, actually, in my opinion, that's really cool, is that now bounty carriers get back their lost health chunk when they extract.
Yeah, so this is like quality of life change that I think many of you guys have asked for a long time already. So basically, if you are playing the objective, if you get your bounty and you might have lost some bars along the way, we take away the logistical burden of having to re-equip all of the bars. We just give them back to you for free. If you extract with bounty, that means as a team, not individually. So even if you're the third in the team, that might not actually be having bounty on them. As long as you extract with your teammates, you'll also benefit from it in the same way.
How much is that really going to change stuff? I don't think that's a very significant change. Bounty carriers get their health chunks back on extract. Is anybody going to care? This goes back to my point I was talking about with the traits. I always on a hunter. I mean, this is maybe for what like this hunter is whatever level 40, 42. This is a level 42 hunter. I'm already at max traits and I have a bunch of spare points anyway. Like that doesn't do much for me. Like if I go into another game and I lose a couple bars, like I have this bank of traits right here, or trait points, and it doesn't really, I don't know. That's not a very significant change in my opinion. Is it gonna make more people? Is that gonna be in people's heads and like make them go for bounty more? I don't really think so.
And as I mentioned, like we listened to a lot of feedback regarding this. Like you mentioned the silencer changes, and we will continue to do that. I mentioned in the beginning of the stream as well. So please give us feedback regarding all of these changes. We will make sure to keep that in mind and try to change in the future based on it. It's very important for us.
What we basically are still doing, we've been doing last update, we're still doing this update. We want to make sure that we walk back some of the changes you guys didn't like since our August release last.
Remove custom ammo.
Here we're gonna do
feedback.
some
there you go.
Piece here and there where we just make sure that like you guys have the best possible game that you want to play. The changes make sense to you, and so important feedback right now for us is whatever you guys like and don't like, and that drives our decisions on balancing on other pieces as well.
I think that's actually a really good point. We mentioned with Garden of the Witch already that we try to focus on health of the game, and it's still true to this update as well.
Yes, it's an important piece right now. We want to make sure that the game feels as best as it can be for you guys, and those changes, you can see all of them were community requests.
Damage rebalancing.
We really want you guys to feel at home here.
Sounds great. And now that we talked about the balance changes, let's look at the damage side of things.
Bullets lose less damage over distance. I mean, is it buffing snipers? Is it buffing? I'm also thinking like Winfields, like Rangers. Is it buffing that? I don't know. Who's primarily going to be? I feel like it depends where it ends up, but long ammo's already been doing a lot of damage over distance. I wonder if they're gonna change like compact ammo. You know how compact ammo damage drop off starts at 20 meters? I wonder if they're gonna start that at a farther distance or what.
So how we rebalance the damage?
So this is a bigger package. So maybe just show all of the bullet points already at the same time. So what we've been doing is looking at the power of weapons.
Adjusted damage to limbs / torso. So this isn't range. This is just straight up damage. Adjusted damage to limbs / torso. Torso 1.2, previously 1. Arms 0.9, previously 0.8. At what distance? Legs 0.8, previously 0.7. Streamline AA damage multipliers alongside.
And how their role is in the game. And one thing we noticed is that we didn't feel like the shots were very often consistent in terms of damage, but we also didn't feel that shots were meaningful enough at longer distances, for example. So we're taking this problem from multiple fronts. One of them is that we have bullets in general lose less damage over distance, so that the drop-off as the bullet travels is a bit less, and that will benefit some of the bullets like compact and...
I don't know. The sparks example you're using, I'm not sure. I don't know what this means exactly. Jekyll, what's up? This is a little confusing. Previously 1. Torso 1.2, previously 1. What does that mean?
Medium, which have suffered very strongly over distance to the point that sometimes you got like 7 or 14 damage points, and obviously even if you have a 25 bar, like you can regen out of that one rather quickly. So we want there to be more of an impact. That means if you do a good hit over distance, like upper torso type of thing, like you kind of did aim well, it's a hit over a long time, we want that to matter. So there will be at least 50 damage across most of the weapons. Keep in mind we have tons of weapons. Some of them might fall under this a little bit because it's very systemic in nature.
Systemic mentioned.
There's a lot of multipliers, we have different ammo types, etc.
It's his favorite word, dude.
Whenever you hit someone over distance,
They haven't said anything about burning yet.
Bandage up because they actually lost some health. And in a similar way, if you're being hit in the limbs at a distance, we at least want it to be 25 of damage. Again, silencers or some of the weaker weapons might not 100% always get to that min threshold, but across the arsenal, you should see that as a more consistent thing. And the exact details of that one you can also read up in the patch notes afterwards, that we have like a more detailed list what it all means for different weapons.
Right, and we also have some graphs to show this with the different sizes. So first is the compact ammo.
Yeah, so as you can see here at the moment is basically this is like the old one, if I'm not mistaken. If you go to the next one.
Spoon feed me here, boys. What? Tell me. I see a graph, but what? Like, is this the change? Is this the old change? Is this the old damage? Is this the new damage multiplier? Like, what? Tell me what you're showing me here, please.
So like you see the old and the new one on the same chart. The moment it's so small for us, we can't even see it. So.
Exactly, that's the problem. It's so small we can't even see what it is. They're saying that literally on the stream.
There's some colored lines there.
Yes.
And you can already compare. So like probably people will take screenshots of the stream, and you can guys probably see that in Reddit in more detail afterwards. And we're going to leave each of them for a few seconds, but it's a different ammunition types. You can kind of see how the new and the old one differ in terms of the retention.
Bro, come on. It shows like, oh, yellow is long FMJ. Okay, and then look at it. You got 6 different shades of green. You got 4 different shades of blue. It's like, bro, like, come on. You think people are going to be able to decipher this fucking...
of the damage over long
I was trying to think of what's that guy's name? The Zodiac killer. You think we're gonna decipher this shit? Come on, bro. Jesus Christ.
We also have the different subtypes in there, so it's interesting also in general to kind of see, like, for example, the plateau we have on FMJ bullets, where it kind of keeps the 100% damage for a longer distance compared to the regular bullet. You can get all of that detail from the charts, so just look at them afterwards in all the details, but there's great reference points for everybody to kind of check
out. Yes, great reference
see the analytics on Reddit for this as well.
Plenty.
I'll read it all. Yeah, we showed compact, medium, long, special ammo, as well as bows and crossbows, and all the special ammo types for those. So have fun. It's a lot of colorful lines for us. It's very small. But
Vince is just like, colorful lines. I like the colors. Come on, Vince.
You figured it all out.
Keep it together.
Yeah.
But can you go back to the one, because we still have 1 or 2 things to talk about before we go to the burn speed. That was a nice teaser, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just go to the bullet points before the graphs. Yes. So because there's more to it. It's not just the damage over distance. There's also the adjusted damage multipliers for the limbs and the torso. So again, what we did here is we wanted to normalize a little bit. So bring the damage multipliers a little bit closer, so it feels a bit more consistent as you do multiple hits in succession on a player. There is still a noticeable difference between them, so it still matters where you hit a person. However, they're a bit closer, and specifically upper torso has remained the same, but the torso has become a lot closer to the upper torso. Upper torso was 1.3 or is 1.3. Now the torso is just slightly below that one. So in general, if you hit the torso as a whole, you should get a more reliable hit picture about like the damage you do. In a similar way, the limbs have been kind of brought up by 10%, like slightly a little bit as well. And then the last thing is just for awareness. While doing all of that, we've also taken the opportunity to streamline some of the AI damage multipliers. So in general, you should have exactly the same experience as before. However, in some of the extreme cases, for example, a particular melee attack against a meathead, for example, or against an armored or against an emulator with specific damage types, might take now a few hits more, a few hits less. That's probably mostly noticeable on the bigger, tougher enemies, though. For the default, most of the stuff and all the cool tricks like throwing axe to the chest, etc., all of that stuff still works exactly the same. and you get a similar experience. But we kind of use the chance to kind of normalize and make sure.
Gabriel asked, does this affect shotguns? Considering it says bullets lose less damage over distance, I'm gonna guess this is only bullets and not shotguns.
We kind of identify and clean up the weird pieces that we found in the system. So think of this whole thing as a big package where we're touching upon the rebalancing of damage across the board, and it should lead to a better experience throughout.
And earlier I burned through the slides a bit too quickly, but now we are actually at the burn changes. So,
oh, fire and burn speed tuning. Oh boy. Oh boy. I am not considering for their combat for their combat changes. It was buffing traps and buffing silencers, at least medium and compact silencers. I am bracing for impact. Brace for impact right now.
what exactly changed in the fire and burning speed?
So the biggest difference what we're doing is that we differentiate now between a fast and a slow burn. The important piece here is that as
45% slower. Default when not inside fire, 45% slower.
long as you're inside fire, like someone throw a firebomb or a lantern at you, while that fire is there, you can fuel the fire on the hunter as well. So now you are burning fast.
Fast burn while inside fire and briefly when ignited, same as before. So it's the same. Their fast burn speed is the same, which is also, they already made that slower when they initially made the. Okay, let's think about this. Let's think about this logic for a second. Let's walk through the logic that they have gone through. Okay, this is not a joke. A while ago, the burn speed was way slower than it is right now. Then they said to mitigate stalemates and to make fights happen faster, they made burn speed way faster even than it is right now. They made burn speed way faster than it is right now. And it was great because you had to actually move and save your teammate. Otherwise, they burnt out faster. That was great. It saved everybody time. But then the Reddit community complained because they're always 10 miles away from their teammate, scared, crouching, shitting themselves in a bush. And they said like 2 minutes wasn't enough time to get to their teammate to save them. When there's chokes that you can throw, there's choke beetles that you can fly 300 meters away to save your burning teammate, but they're too busy shitting themselves in the bushes to be able to put their burning teammate out, so they didn't have enough time to get there. So Crytek caved to the Reddit community and made it and did a silent change. They did not announce this in any patch notes, but they definitely made it slower. Well, I don't think they announced it, but they did like a sneak change, and they made burn speed slower than what it is right now. Oh, no, sorry. They made it what it is now, which is slower than what it was before. So they're calling this, which is already slow, the fast burn. And then there's an even slower burn that is 45% slower. So they have fully caved. You now have 45 minutes to save your burning teammate. And then even when you get rezzed, you get all your bars on extract if you have a bounty.
However, if you've just been ignited, for example, from a flare pistol, there might be a few seconds with a strong burn initially, but then it kind of goes to that slower burn rate. What that means is you will have a much stronger relevance of what item you use to burn. So a flare pistol still ignites, a flare pistol is still reliable, but it also means for the most part you can only get to the slow burning, which means it takes a bit longer for people to really burn out. And gives then, for example, the teammates a better chance over a longer time to kind of do something about it. So we no longer treat fire as fire, but we now have a differentiation in there, and hopefully that brings a bit more diversity in gear.
What happened to wanting to stop stalemates? What happened to that goal? Because I think that's still a pretty high priority, at least for me. That should be a pretty high priority, I think. So what happened to that? They don't want to do that anymore? I guess not.
For example, finding that
Salve skin no longer slows down burning when downed, but you can put out fires faster.
lantern or even bring it like a firebomb, etc. And differences even between a hellfire bomb and a regular fire bomb. You know, like the normal fire bomb burns for several minutes. So that means you can almost guarantee to burn someone out fast. But a hellfire bomb kind of diminishes after a few seconds. And then you would have a slow burn as well. So that tactical depth that we're adding to this should help kind of break up some of the monotony we have seen in the
yeah, like if you're alive, you can put out fire faster. Yeah. Wow.
And I think that will be very healthy for the game.
One note to mention, what happens if someone is submerged or underwater?
Yes, so one of the things we did at the same time is that if you are submerged in water and someone, for example, throws a liquid firebomb at you, you will get a little bit of faint charcoaling if you are in a fire volume. So think of it like during like the heavy rain, for example, right? Like we kind of like have a little bit on the ground, but you can't.
So, okay, so that, okay, so you basically still will take forever. I bet the liquid firebomb will go away before you actually fully burn out.
Right. It's a similar thing here. The important piece is that if someone hits like a piece, an object in the water next to you, let's say like a part of a pier or a stump or whatever, they can still obviously create a fire effect, and then for the duration of that fire, you might still do that. But burning out inside water is very, very hard, and you need to bring the right tools for it over a longer time. But that is something that we've done at the same time to kind of break it up a little bit. So for example, if someone dies very close to the shoreline and you ignite the shore, there might be some some fire over the water where they are lying, and then that will affect them.
That makes a lot of sense. And we also changed some.
That's always been such a weird thing too. Like the liquid fire bomb. It's always been like a confusing part in how exactly that works.
Off skin because of the changes.
So in order for us to now only have these two speeds for burning, the fast and the slow, we didn't want to introduce even more granularity into that one. And traditionally what self-skin has been doing was that self-skin impacted how long it takes for you to burn out when on the ground. So instead now we do have, depending on how you're being ignited, whether you can fuel the fire around the body, we now have the two speeds, and we didn't want to have another one in there. So self-skin has been changed. It no longer slows down the burning. However, you can put out the fire. So think of it similar to what Mithridates is doing for poison, or what Bloodless is doing for bleeding. Like you only basically have the base stage of that damage effect, and it still gives you an advantage to kind of recover from it much faster. And obviously you also still.
All right, let's go ahead and recap the changes. All right, here's the changes that they've gone over so far. Traps are buffed. Silencers, compact and medium silencers are now buffed. Burning is slower for the most part. Let's just say burning is more difficult. Burning will be more difficult now. Well, okay. That's the recap.
Can have all the advantages they had before when it comes to reduced charcoaling when you, for example, get hit by incendiary ammunition, etc.
Okay, sounds good. So we've talked a lot about fire, but I think we do have a nice comparison video to show here. So let's look at the burning speeds.
Okay. This is what an incredible stream this is. Okay, nothing. I'll do it. I'll nitpick. This is gonna be a nitpick of this, what we're looking at right here, which isn't a big deal. They could have just zoomed in on the health bars. Like they could have just zoomed into right here and then had them all in a row right here. Like on the right side, it could have all of the health bars, and it could say 2.3 to 2.3 south skin, 2.4 slow, 2.4 fast. And they could have the big health bars right there. And instead of getting out my fucking microscope on the stream to see the fucking health bars, that would have been nice. Nitpick. That's just a nitpick, okay? I'm sorry. It's just, we're getting to more. We're focusing on a very small part of the screen here. It shows the times. But they don't show they don't show the times. I think they messed up or something because I think this one up here and finishes burning and then it says how much time? 51 seconds. It says 51 and I assumed it was gonna like go to the other ones and be like, oh, this one is a minute or you know, whatever, but it doesn't do that.
So as you can see here, we do have 45% slower burn on the slow burn compared to how it was before, and the fast burn is roughly the same as before. We're talking about just a few seconds difference because it's a different formula running in the background, but that means you will overall have a lot more time in the slow burn, and it's roughly the same as you've had on live if someone manages to fuel the fire and keep it burning there.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a very appreciated change by the community, and of course it will add a lot of depth to like what equipment people take and how they use the burn on each other as well, or more like on the enemy, hopefully. So yeah.
One thing what we maybe can quickly do, just don't want to show you the entire long video again, because as fun as it is watching health bars burn down, especially if you wait for your teammate to finally throw that choke bomb. Yeah. But maybe if you can quickly load up the video and just go to the very end of the video, if that's
it's gonna go over.
Then we can see just like the timings there quickly and have it on screen for a moment. Then you see it like for the different versions. So as you can see there, we have if you take a look at the health bar and how much it has progressed.
There it is.
We have like the 2.3, like the previous version was 51 seconds, and then you have 2.4 with fast like 55, so it's roughly.
So the fast the fast is even slower than the fast before, right?
Roughly the same. It's in the same ballpark. And then you have like 1 minute 11.
It only saved you 20 seconds? Wow. I thought it was
self skin, and now the slow burn in 2.4 is 1 minute 18. So just give you like a ballpark of the numbers. But obviously it's much nicer to try this out as you play, which you will soon.
Yeah, in just 2 days actually, so it's very soon, less than 2 days now. It's late night. But we have a bunch of other changes in the update as well, starting with the Silent Killer trait improvement.
Yes, so Silent Killer is one of the traits we looked at a little bit and wanted to improve. One thing we've been doing here is that if you have Silent Killer actually on your hunter, and you do a melee attack or you do a ranged attack against an AI which is not in combat, which is unaware, you can now kill them silently. So this is really, really cool, for example, for crossbow bow users. Like if you aim your shots carefully, you bring them down with one hit and they're not alerted yet, you can be a lot more effective of killing them silently.
Bro,
obviously that extends to.
So now you can, like you can also kill AI completely silently, I guess. So, you know, I guess if let's say you're running around and you're killing grunts with like a crossbow, I use a crossbow a bunch, so I do that. You're running around with a crossbow and you're killing like a pack of grunts and they're not alerted. I guess they like drop to the ground completely silently or something. That's what it seems like.
The attacks as well, which understandably sometimes can be a bit harder as you approach. Like if you're not really crouching, they might still get onto you at one point. But in addition to what Silent Killer was doing before, which was just that your sounds as a hunter were suppressed, we now have an effect on the grunts at the moment, and we're trying this out on the grunts first, and then depending on the feedback, we might expand this to other AI in the next updates moving forward. So, but you see a lot more stealth possible now if you
That's what we needed, more stealth.
Know how to play and bring things down silently.
That sounds really, really fun. Always fun to be a ninja. So, and we have some other changes to Dark Side, where we changed how it works with active interactions.
Yes, so you've seen that a little bit from what we introduced before, but now all of the active interactions are actually triggered by the mouse button or the triggers on the controller.
Like what?
To choose when to use them. So this gives you a lot more control what to activate. Like no longer do you just hover over an enemy about to shadow leap, lost a little bit of health, then that sparks hits you and you're frustrated. Like you now have control when to commit to these type of actions, and
like
the whole thing.
What, like serpent or something? Like you have to push another button in Darkseid to serpent a clue? I'm not sure. Like he said, he used the what's it called example, which is, I guess that makes sense. If you're using Shadow Leap and you're just looking around, you might lose a little bit of health because Shadow Leap takes a little bit of health off. I mean, that makes sense. I get it. But does that mean like you when you're in dark sight and you're trying to serpent the clue, you have to hold an additional button to serpent the clue?
A lot more easier to pace from your side with these abilities throughout everything that is possible in dark side.
Awesome, and our little
Beetle improvements, bro. What are they doing?
some improvements.
So the beetles are kind of benefiting from this as well, obviously. Like they also get the active interactions. In addition to that, we looked at some of the traits and decided that the beetles should also now be able to use serpent, which is a really, really strong improvement, especially like for solos, as you can kind of like now see if you can maybe snatch like that clue or other pieces like a bit more silently. And also a big note. While it can interact with serpent, it cannot steal bounty. So that's not a possibility. We already have people flying around with bounty tokens.
So hang on. Okay, so as a solo, you can have a beetle. You can fly your beetle like 300 meters away and have solo serpent range on your beetle to serpent clues from 50 meters away in your beetle. Am I getting this right? You can fly your beetle around and serpent clues 50 meters away in your beetle to be even more stealthy. So you don't have to move at all. Am I getting this right?
Tokens.
Well, that would be hilarious, but I don't, yeah, maybe not should be the most.
You could, for example, start a banish from a distance and things like that, right? So it just gives you a bit more.
Yeah, and have conduit so it counts as 2 clues. That's true. Yeah.
Options, and in a similar way, remedy also works now with the beetle. So if you remember where that trait was in the tower, but you're pinned down in the fight, but you really want the bars back and you have remedy, like you can fly to that other trait with a beetle and do the interaction and get your bars back that way. So just a little bit of edge.
Oh god. You can remedy in the beetle now. Oh shit, guys, I just died 5 times. Let me go fly my beetle and use remedy so I can get my bars back. Guys, there's only one thing going through my head right now. There's only one thing going through my head right now. Okay? Can you guess what it is? Oh my god.
Case sandboxy elements that we can add.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, and the beetle is even better, and yeah, we love the beetle.
We love the beetle, all 3 of them.
Yeah, there's a change that I'm actually really looking forward. I've been asking for it for a long time. So ever since we introduced weapon skins, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But now we show the base item name and not the name of the weapon skins.
Finally, yes. So this is a really cool quality of life change where, like, especially if you're not familiar with all of the like legendary skins or cosmetic skins we have, what weapon they belong to, and then whether you should pick up that weapon or not, especially in the heat of combat. We now show the base name, and then you can figure out what the variant is afterwards, the usual way.
Yeah, again, it's very cool, and I'm excited for it.
New hunter bots until rank 11. They're gonna get into bot matches?
But there's a bigger change for the new players and people new to hunt, maybe. Hi, if you're watching, I hope you will enjoy this change. So we're introducing hunter bots until rank 11 only for new players.
So this is an important caveat here. While we're introducing hunter bots, they're primarily as a purpose for onboarding. We want to make sure that new players have a good time. They have like some.
Oh boy, you know, this opens up a scary door. This actually does. It's Crytek, bro. This can go sideways many ways, actually. Wow. Okay. This is actually like possibly really big. It's Crytek. Crytek is known for their bugs. How many crazy bugs have we had over the years? I'm not saying it's going to happen, But I'm thinking about the beetle. I'm comparing this to them introducing the beetle and what the beetle has turned into now. Okay, they said it was going to be an anti-camp. Let's go over the beetle change really quick. They said the beetle was going to be an anti-camping mechanic, and they showed like how to use the beetle originally, and it flew way slower. There was the only original version of it, and then it has changed so much since then. It's gotten like 3 times as fast. There's different versions of the beetle. It's not even close to how it was in the beginning. So they're introducing this new thing that seems harmless, but I could totally see them make it like, this is opening the door. I could totally see them taking steps to be like, okay, well, it's not going to be up until rank 11 anymore, but if your match is empty, then we're going to put bots in your server. Like, take that small step. And then the next one is, okay, well, we're gonna have different elos of bots, and if you're a 1-star, then you have easy bots. If you're a 6-star, then you have difficult bots. And like, just slowly taking the steps to introduce them way more overall, because we all know the player base is struggling. We all know it. We all know that you get into matches with the same people all the time, constantly. We all know that queue times are long as hell. I could totally, like, this is opening the door to them adding full-on bots in all servers. They haven't yet. Obviously, they're just saying it's only until rank 11. Don't worry, everybody. Don't freak out. It's only until rank 11. But this is opening the door to them fully adding bot hunters in every way.
Some interesting fights, but not being dominated so quickly. It's just important to have that first moment of success, obviously. So that's why they're only limited to the new player experience. That's what they're built for.
Sure.
And they should give new players just a nicer experience to kind of learn the ropes
we'll see.
And get familiar with the game. So.
Yeah, I mean, of course, player onboarding has been like a big focus point for us.
Yes.
Of course, we added a tutorial and so many improvements to it. So, especially for new players that I always see on social and Reddit saying that they just started the game, please let us know how you feel about this change. And hopefully you have a lot of fun with it.
It's the next logical step to kind of improve the onboarding experience, but also onboarding is something which is so important for us, and we can keep on moving in that direction with different venues. This time around, the Hunter bots kind of fell a little bit of a missing piece there. So, again, as a new player, please give us your feedback.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, of course, Hunt is not the easiest game to learn from the beginning, so I think this is one really good step. But let's talk about some other improvements, like some of the bug fixes we did in the update.
Fixed multiple issues tied to ammo display and reloading. Oh, you mean the reload bug that's been in the game for the last 7 years?
We fixed the multiple issues tied to ammo display.
Which you said you fixed before?
And like something like, especially when you were reloading weapons, etc. Often like the HUD was kind of sometimes breaking, falling apart, and giving you the right feedback. So there's been plenty of issues around that front that we've been fixing. Not all of them, but I think we've made some good steps forward there. Then we fixed some issues related to.
So all the times, maybe not all the times, but many. This is validation that the times that I've complained about audio, saying where the fuck was that guy's footsteps? There you go. They're saying there was issues related to silent and missing footsteps. So I wasn't just going insane.
Silent and missing footsteps, like especially the silent footsteps, has been something which has been a point of contention with the community for quite some time now.
Yep.
We have identified actually multiple different problems there. Hopefully we found all of them, or at least most of them. If you still encounter silent footsteps or missing footsteps after the update, please let us know. But I think we've at least taken away a good chunk of the problem now from what we could identify.
We of course have a lot of performance and optimization related fixes in the update on all different platforms. And we also fixed an issue where trait charms were just floating in.
Yeah, there was something that we unfortunately introduced with we added that traits can be floating when you kill Roger. So just so you see them pop up, we could finally give Roger also a nice reward, which I think was appreciated. Had some side effects. One of them was that traits now sometimes were just doing things which we're not supposed to. We fixed that. So hopefully they're back there where they should be on the ground, wherever they drop.
Yep, and very importantly, we have a long list of bug fixes.
And many
so
more.
when the update goes live on the 18th, please make sure to read the patch notes and read the bug fix list because it's quite long.
It's a long list.
And yeah, talking of long lists, I think we also added a lot of, first of all, UI related bugs, but also some very, very asked for changes.
Yes. Lots of fixes went into the UI, but also we can, as we've already shown in the beginning of the year when we released like the roadmap video for that, a couple of pieces. So we start tackling more and more of those. That's obviously an ongoing journey. Not everything is done in this update. There's going to be more. The team is working really hard on all of those pieces, but actually I think this is coming along very nicely. So what we see this time around is improvements to the loadout screen redesign. So especially since we've done the change in 2.3 where you have 10 upgrade points to kind of like do it. So people are kind of building up their loads a little bit more with a specific gear in mind, etc. So they use the loadout just a little bit more than they used before. And so one of the improvements here is that we went back to our traditional view of how to kind of display the player, different slots. It's more of a vertical list now. There's a couple more pieces to this. So overall the whole thing is a lot nicer to kind of see, and you see your hunter there directly on the right side as well. So it just gives you a nicer way of interacting with the loadouts. The loadouts are also at a central location now, so you can always get to them from the lobby right away. So if you prepare your loadouts, you can very quickly equip a new hunter. The one thing we couldn't do for this update, but is on the list for us for future, is like that we also include the trades as part of this. But for now, the system at least works a lot nicer for the weapons and for tools and consumables.
Yeah, let's also look at this in action because we have a short video to showcase the loadout screen as well.
So you can select the central button we have there now. As you might go through, you still have the full control about like a loadout only updating a particular category, and then from there on you can go directly select the weapons for it, select the ammunition, and kind of build your loadout in a very nice, elegant way.
Did they have? Hang on.
You can ocular.
Did they have a UI bug where the top bar disappears in their own thing? No way, right?
Category.
They have their own bug where the top bar disappeared?
And then from there on, you can go directly, select the weapons for it, select the ammunition, and kind of build your loadout in a very nice, elegant way. You can, of course, also still carry it over from a hunter, save it as a preset, so that full control is still there.
Riveting. Yes, we're literally just watching somebody put together their inventory, dude.
And save it.
Amazing.
So we think that gives a lot more flexibility and just makes it a bit faster in between rounds, which has been one of our focus points. Just like make sure we remove some of the pain points for equipping and kind of like do the task you always have to do between missions a little bit more efficiently.
So then we also made a recruit and free hunter visual overhaul to this screen.
Yeah, so in a similar way, we went back to like more of a vertical display there with some of the lessons learned. So it's a combination of what we had as a past layout. However, with still the improvements of the new UI when it comes to accessibility and some of the pieces.
Just,
the buttons,
just say that you're going back to the old way, dude. Just say it.
Of what is great.
Yeah, and I believe we also have a video for that.
Oh yes, the pause menu. Nice, amazing, incredible.
So this is like a different thing though. We can quickly talk about this.
Yeah, I believe this is like the new pause menu that has been changed a lot.
So this is another thing we'll be doing. You might have already seen it in the dev video that we released last week.
You're just okay. You're showing
or directly if you press escape
and change a lot.
So this is another thing we'll be doing.
What was his name?
So you might have already seen it in the dev video that we released last week.
What about second breakfast? What the fuck?
You basically get a bit of a life.
What is that, a German thing?
Directly, if you press escape or go to the pause menu, what your equipment is, you get live updates on whenever equipment changed. You see that obviously also for your teammates, and just gives you a lot more overview. So like now, if you open up the menu, you can even see your health bars burning at the very same moment. And you see it for your teammates as well. It gives you just a better overview.
Lord of the Rings thing, okay.
Yeah, when you pause, you couldn't really see before, so now you see everything that's happening.
The problem we had
I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
You basically go to like a team sub menu, and now the moment you press escape, you're directly there where you want the information. You can see it for all your teammates and yourself. right there.
I think we also forgot to mention that now you will be able to read the lore of hunters
Yes.
in the UI.
Yes!
Which has been actually requested by a lot of people.
Fuck.
It's a small but I think very important piece, like that you even for the hunters that you own, you can kind of go back and read their little bios, understand what their motivation is, etc. And for some people, that's just very, very important to kind of like also put themselves a little bit into the world, into the mindset of the game, and to a certain extent even roleplay these hunters.
Yeah, and yeah, we already talked about the pause menu in the video, but now you can also see it on the screen. You can see teammates loadout and also like what's happening to you live. So if you're poisoned, you can see it. If your health chunks are burning away, you can see it. And I believe even in the options, you will be able to, like as you're changing the FOV, for example, you will be able to see it changing live in the background. So yeah. I think it will be much loved and such an improved quality of life.
It's just a layer of quality of life change. I think it's really, really important.
And then one big change is that
better lobby / matchmaking flow.
we made the flow from lobby to matchmaking a bit better and a bit smoother.
Yes. So overall, you will have a back to lobby button now in most of the screens. So generally, you should be able to get back to where you actually commit to the next game very quickly. I don't have to like leave submenus first before you can do that. So the whole thing should feel a bit more accessible and easier to navigate.
Yeah, also removing the traits will be much easier. And let's look at the two videos we have here for the back to lobby button in action, as well as
yes. Bring up the video about the button where it takes you back to the lobby, please. We get it. We get it, boys. We get it. A button that takes you back to the lobby. We understand. Thank you. We get it. Ah, yes. There it goes. There's the button. He just clicked the button.
Who would have thought?
Wow. Convenient. And yeah, this is the trait removal. So now you can, when you see all your equipped traits.
Oh, so there's no confirmation thing? You know somebody's going to remove traits that they didn't mean to.
Click it to remove them, and you don't have to go through the big list at the bottom.
You know, you want to know the fast way to do it? You want to know how you take traits off? What's a 1-point trait? Termination, right? Let's just take Dauntless off. You want to know the fast way? Double click and hit space. Boom. It's gone. That's it. It's not that big a deal. You just double click it and hit space. That's what I do to remove traits. Very easy. Very simple. Very simple, guys. That was not a major, as somebody who's been critical about the UI, removing traits was not a major pain point of the UI, boys.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Small quality of life change, but it just gives you a better overview of what you have and then be able to action right there.
Exactly. And
they skipped over the last thing. It said 100 plus UI
small
things, I think. You think they'll list each change?
Overview of what you have and then be able to action right there.
Exactly.
Boom. 100 plus UI bug fixes. Okay, so do you remember the patch notes from like 6 months ago? It said like, oh my gosh, we fixed 286 bugs. I don't know if they ever actually like said what each of those were. I would like to know to like check and see. So now they're saying 100 plus UI bug fixes. I mean, okay, good, fixing bugs, good if that's true, but like list them. I'm maybe not right now in the stream, but I bet they won't. The point I'm trying to get at is they're probably not going to list all of them in the patch notes. So they could say any number.
We have over 100 UI bug fixes in this update as well. So
yeah. The team has been very busy and it's much appreciated. There's lots of progress in there and there's even more to come.
And again, please, for bug fixes, specifically not just regarding the UI, but the game, please read the patch notes. It's a lot of work going into it from the whole team and the community managers as well. So please read it. There's a bunch of UI bug fixes listed that we, of course, couldn't talk about, and a lot of game bug fixes. So please make sure to read it.
They did not say anything about hitboxes.
Other
no
improvements, which are a very big part of this update, actually, and it's about audio, which is obviously one of the key pillars.
Oh yeah, very, very important. So in the biggest point at the moment is like we've been done like an overall improvement to the mix quality. So again, something we've also already hinted at a little bit and shown some examples in the dev video that we've released on Friday. So if you want to have very concrete examples, really recommend you guys watching that video because all of the details are in there and you can actually really properly hear as it's like in-game live captures, doesn't have to go through stream compression, etc. And you can kind of watch that and get a sense for it. But the important piece is that the information that is important to you should be more in the foreground now. should be able to identify sounds better and clearer, and that helps just the overall mix and clarity of what is going on in the mission.
Yeah, and one other very big change is the vertical footstep audio when you're in buildings or outside, and now it's much easier to tell what's above you or below you.
Yes, so when you're inside buildings, now we kind of changed the pitch of the footsteps in terms of like how hollow they sound, etc., based on whether you're up, down. Again, in the dev video, we have a couple of examples for you guys to if you want to look up the details of that one, see some gameplay examples of this one. This is a really cool change, and we've done a couple of experiments in the past in the direction. We were never fully happy with this one. This is the first time this is actually really becoming so much clearer, especially like in the intensity of combat, right? Like to understand if someone is underneath, above, etc., because we're talking about like a fraction of seconds to make decisions now, and this is finally a bit clearer and should give people a bit more success on whether they aim up or down at the staircase.
We'll see.
Actually, we changed a lot of things about footsteps. We already mentioned that we fixed some bugs where the audio was missing. We changed the vertical sound, and we also changed how it sounds across surfaces.
Yes, so just a general improvement about the clarity of the surface type that you're walking over and making sure that this all feels more appropriate. So again, something to try out best in software. It's hard to explain it just by talking about it, but once you experience it, I'm pretty sure you guys will be happy.
Yeah, and other than just like the overall audio, gunshot specifically has been remixed a bit, especially for interior gunshot sounds.
Yeah, it should be much clearer to understand which weapons are firing. Like some of the weapons, they were a bit suffering to not fully be able to identify them with the indoor tails they had. So it should be more distinct overall.
Awesome. Can't wait to hear your feedback. Yeah. So let us know how you feel about these changes. And I think we are at the topic that everyone has been waiting for. We've been seeing it for months now, and now we finally can talk about it. Of course, we had a cool trailer that we will be rolling now, and then we are going to be diving into
Desalle.
So we've seen this trailer, and I have said that I like this trailer. The trailer itself, where there's no cringy ass voice acting, there's no like animations of people fighting for like in the lore. It's just like here's the map, and I think this was good. The music. Not even what they're showing, but just like the music and making it feel nostalgic. I think they did that good. I'll give them that, because there's gonna be like some dude just walking around looking around, and that's sort of like, ah yes, the old stomping grounds. This is where it all happened right here. Yeah, that kind of feeling. That old balcony is new right there. You're gonna keep skipping Desalle.
Yeah, first of all, I must say this video, when I first saw it, I got goosebumps. It's so good to be back, and I think a lot of players' favorite map is coming back with this update. But let's just quickly have an overview of what was changed.
Yeah, so like the important piece is now like Desalle is back. It's been updated. It has received a similar treatment like some of the other maps we've had. So that concludes the last map. Is back in rotations, back in the pool. The family is reunited, and we have some really cool improvements that we can deep dive a little bit more. But in general, we've done changes to the layouts. We've done changes to lighting, terrain, vegetation has been reworked in some parts, and then the PvP flow like combat, etc., as well as fidelity across the compounds has been changed with lots of details. So I think we can probably go a little bit more into detail some of those. So those are basically just like general changes for the lighting of it. If you want to talk about it as well.
Yeah, it's just some overview of the general lighting changes, and of course you guys could see it in the video as well. But the whole atmosphere has been uplifted, assets updated. As Dennis said, many layout changes, and we will be diving into right after this to the biggest ones.
Yeah.
But I just think it like looks absolutely amazing. It almost looks like real life pictures, not gonna lie. So
Come on, okay, man.
yeah.
Fucking, I know you're a sweet little puppy dog, but fucking, it doesn't look like real pictures. Come on, dude, relax.
Talk about what's exactly new.
Yeah, so the main thing is like some of the key areas have been overhauled. So notably Pelican Island, the prison up on the
Yeah.
on the hill. Then Pearl Plantation has seen a bigger shift, and Kingsnake Mine as well. So there's some pieces to it where we've either added ladders, we added entire sub buildings to them, new entry points, just whatever was good for the flow, whatever was good for getting like the particular compound to play better. And we will have a total of 3 times of days initially for this one. So we kind of updated the ones that you've known and familiar with. So we have Clearview, we have Amber Sky, and Pressing Fog as the 3 main ones there. So there will be probably more coming along the way.
Yeah, and we mentioned the 3 main compounds, so we are going to be looking at those, and each with a different time of day, so we can see what changed, and then it's gonna kind of walk us through on some of the bigger changes. So of course this is prison.
Yeah, so this Pelican prison, as you can see, like the entire front towards the west of the compound has been changed drastically. We have like a new building there, like an administration building, different ways going up and down. So just the whole place a little bit nicer from the combat side. On the north side, we chopped down the big tree, or I think it burned down. Like so some of the leftovers, there's like a supply point in this particular instance. That should just in general give you clearer line of sights and like firing lanes, etc. in that particular area, and just like makes that space a little bit more interesting from the verticality perspective.
Well,
as
they
you can
changed over
shoot
here
down
too.
from the windows as well.
Look at that.
And then on the back side, you can kind of see a little bit on the right side here, there's like this little elevator and side construction. And also in the courtyard, we've kind of added like another ruined structure in there. So there's a bit more cover as you go forward. And might not sure if you can see it of the main boss building. If you approach it, there's like a different way the ramp goes up there. So different ways for you to get inside and encounter and have fights around this place. So.
Yeah, and just to mention that this time of day is called Clearview, as Dennis mentioned. But let's look at the next one, which is Pearl Plantation after a lot of changes, and this is Amber Sky time of day.
Yes, so Pearl Plantation here, like in this screenshot, you don't really see so much changed. However, it's in the details, as you can see from the inside. This is the lobby area. And as you can see, the entire top floor, the access that you have like to the balcony in the old version, like this all been collapsed, kind of ruined. So we kind of restructured how you approach that frontal part. If you go in through the main door, how you can fight your way up. And what you can see just very slimly in the background there is that the collapsed balcony that we've used to have on the back side of the building, on the east side, is now next to the main entrance on the west side. So there's also like an easier way to ramp up and go up on the balcony. So the flow of the map should change just a little bit based on how you can now move around that. And from our playtesting, this is shown like to really improve the flow of the whole thing.
And of course the garden area actually sees a lot of changes.
Yes.
I think that's like maybe the most noticeable too.
So like the whole peripheral is like a little bit more like on like it was on the back side, on the left side previously. Just have a lot more cover there, a lot more options to go through. So the approach to the compound should also become a lot clearer and give more interesting ways for players to kind of like move around, especially with multiple attacking teams maybe trying to find a way in as there's a defender sitting inside.
And now we have the Pressing Fog, the spooky time of day, and this is Fort Bolden.
Yes, so as you can
Fort Bolden. Yeah, this is a pretty big change. I can't even tell exactly where we're at.
already see with Verbolten, it's like the view from the lair towards the east side.
So they added a secondary building. Okay, I think I know where are we by that little crouch hole? Yeah. I think we are. We're by that little crouch hole, where you're in the boss layer on the second floor, and then you look out that balcony. Yeah. So there used to be a not a building right here.
There's a new structure there, and like that structure gives obviously like a new vantage point for an attacking team that kind of anchors their
Anchors, meaning that's where they're gonna camp. That's where they're gonna anchor all their traps. Come on, just say it.
Their attack. It gives more flanking options from there, and you could also really see that there were like more paths out. So like the different combat spaces that we had, like think of it almost like a figure of 8 almost in there. Like there's more ways left and right to move around between the different spaces now, and that should just feel a little more dynamic as you go through. And then on this screenshot here, what you can see is that there's also a new window in the tower, so you can't go all the way up to the tower still, but there is like an in-between story accessible from the lair that gives you a couple more vantage points out to the right and the left side on that shot to kind of deal with attackers. But obviously also you might throw stuff in there, right?
Yeah, and we also have a picture from the outside of
the underground
underground
thing.
Here, this is mostly just like how we are better highlighting some of the entrance points. You can see like the whole underground section, like the kind of like it extrudes out a little bit more with the roof extension, and just the flow around the map is just a little bit better with cover, etc.
Yeah, these are some of the bigger changes. There's of course a lot others, and we're gonna look at some other sort of examples. First of all, some line of sight changes.
Yeah, so as you can see here, and I think the important piece is the bell tower in the background. So in general, we have removed some of the trees, we've cleared out some of the sidelines, just made it a little bit more so that you actually have these vantage points and you can use them. At least to a certain extent. Obviously you can't shoot 360 all around, but you just in general have, if you go up on towers, etc., like here, you should be able to see a little bit more and use them to advantage a bit more proactively. So as you can see, like throughout, like some of these spaces have just been cleared up a little bit, and some of the trees that really were not there for any gameplay purpose, we decided to chop down in order to kind of add interesting line of sights and give players a chance to have nice fights.
Yeah, I mean, line of sight changes are of course very important, but we also added a bunch of new paths.
Yes, so as you can see here,
I noticed that in the trailer. This little balcony thing was not there before. I assume the other one on the other side is still there, so you'll have at least 2 ways to like aggress this boat area.
You have like this walkway all the way around. Used to be the case that you couldn't get past that boat there in this direction. Now you can kind of circle all the way around. So just gives you more options to kind of, as an attacker team specifically, find a way in, move around without.
What part of this video do I think would be good for shorts so far? Probably the major changes at the beginning. Maybe the burn speed changes and whatever my reaction to it was, and some of those the bigger changes that they're gonna do. The trap one, the trap one, yeah.
Getting bogged down in the water, and then the whole gameplay kind of coming down to a halt because you don't feel like you can risk going across that area, and you kind of
the bots, that's a good one. The bots saying like, oh, this is opening the door for like actual full bots in the game. Yep.
Back where you are. In a similar way here, we see King Snake. There's like different ways now up on the roofs, like new ramps being added, just to add about.
Holy fuck!
The maneuver.
It looks like what's that old thing where like you're looking at, there's like stairs going sideways and upside down, and like people are walking around all over the place on the ceiling and shit, and with like stairways and corridors that are all going all over the place. That's what that just reminded me of.
Mobility in that compound, kind of like find the right way.
Yeah, like a lot of new stairways, ladders, and that kind of paths have been
all
added.
these things, and you'll discover all of those in a lot of detail. As you can see here, like we have like a different stairway leading up on the left side. There's like also some shelter on top. So even the attacking team very close to the building has a bit more cover now.
That ladder was already there.
This is mostly for situations really when there's multiple attackers rolling up on the same area. and you don't want to be
Escher.
exposed too much.
Escher, yeah.
And of
Something
course, we
like
added
that.
stairs, as I mentioned, ladders, but we also added some new structures.
No new guns. I think that's fine. We don't. It's already bloated. I think it's already bloated. We didn't need new guns.
Yeah, like in this case, for example, we saw it in the previous one already, like you can walk around this entire area, and then in some cases we've kind of added entire buildings even to some of the compounds. Again, something for you guys to discover along the way.
Here's another
Like
example.
a good example here from Moses, right? You see like this new building in front of the lair from the camera has been added, and it's kind of like also serving as another point a team can kind of seek shelter in case another team rolls up.
Seek shelter in. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And we also had some
yeah.
terrain rework. Here's an example. I think this is at King Snake Mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can kind of go up on some of those rocks now that have been accessible before. So we're just opening a bit more paths, at least giving you a chance to access some of the rooftops, in this case, like the tops of those mounts, to be able to use them as firing positions.
Right. So you mentioned openings. So of course we added more windows and openings as well. So let's look at a few small examples of those.
Yeah. So this is, for example, at Quarry, where the building in the north side, now you have full access to the roof. You kind of expand this overhang a little bit, and then from the inside you can kind of scale the roof, which means you can use that also towards the position of the layer from the other direction. Like you kind of use it as a firing position, as you know from many other compounds where this is possible as well.
Another example.
Yeah, here this is actually, you might look at the second floor on the right side. The window has always been there, but we extended the roof underneath it a little bit, so you can actually walk up to that one. So you're not bound to just having to go through the first window when you come up that crane. You actually can go into the second one as well now. So it's like small little things like that. You've already seen the stairway in the back right in the previous shot. So just giving you more options to kind of get close into knife range. For this thing.
And of course with these changes we just wanted to highlight the philosophy of what kind of changes we made, but there's so many changes on Desalle, so please check it out, and I hope you guys enjoy the fights.
Tactically seeking shelter to anchor in with their traps in order to have a more thoughtful gameplay with smart and systemic approaches to gameplay. Well said,
So,
Dennis.
But with these Desalle changes we also did some small tweaks to Bounty Clash.
Yes.
Oh boy,
obviously
Bounty
we're
Clash.
using a new map, so there should also be nice locations for Bounty Clash on there. So we have new locations, and also we've separated the MMR for Bounty Clash. It's just an important piece, and so last small point here. That you should no longer suffer from like tanking your MMR in one mode and then racing up in the other, having problems. The starting point will be it's a copy of your live MMR as this change goes online, and then they will just naturally evolve each on their own based on
how's
the
it going?
performance in the modes from there.
Yeah,
Majestic Moose, how's it going?
We of course added some new compounds to Bounty Clash since we have Desalle back, so let's just quickly look at those.
Yeah, so obviously we have Lower Desalle as a nice location.
That's gonna be so fun.
That was a must have.
Yeah.
Then we have the church area, which is really cool as well, especially like as it leans itself very nicely to.
Those might be interesting to play in the beginning before everybody learns what the long range sniper meta is going to be about. Why does it even need MMR? I would like them. I would be okay with them opening up the MMR to for Bounty Clash and just having it complete open matches. That'd be interesting. But you know, their whole goal has been to protect and keep new players in their cribs so that they don't learn too fast. What kind of game is this? Stealth Royale Tactical? PvE extraction shooter that is, the devs are trying to go more and more towards stealth and traps.
The different attack venues.
As evidenced by this update that they're talking about in this dev stream, where they are buffing stealth and traps. So yes, that is overall what they've been talking about so far.
Yeah.
And then we also have for
Mike,
Golden,
what's up?
To give you like a bit of an interesting approach there with a big wall outside. So one of the things that I enjoyed the most during playtesting, if you're lucky and you're close to the underground section, is like if you really rush it, you can just take the lift up and be close to the lair.
Yeah.
Other people will be fast as well. It's all been very well timed, but definitely is something you want to try and see if you can maybe capture the lair first.
Yeah, and just to mention, these new Bounty Clash combines will stick around after the event as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so with that, we are at the end of the presentation for the judgment of the full event and 2.4.
For you guys that have seen this already, is there anything important they go over in the Q&A?
But of course, again, please read the patch notes because there's a lot of stuff in there that we couldn't talk about, smaller changes as well. And we are at the Q&A section. So luckily we had our lovely moderators collecting questions. So first of all, will Desalle be available in Bounty Clash? We kind of already answered that.
Yes, it will be, of course. So you will be able to play the new compounds as well as the existing ones in Bounty Clash. Absolutely.
What's up, Cool Whip?
Yeah, and I actually seen a question that we forgot to mention. It was about the Brute in a similar fashion. Is the Brute only for the event or is
No,
it
the Brute is a new addition, so the Brute will stay afterwards as well. And so like your little forests here and there that you saw are safe spaces, they will no longer be safe spaces, and you should always be careful to listen for potentially some Brute sounds there.
Yeah, so there's some other questions from here or about the bots, which we talked about. So,
Taco, thank you for
are these
45
guaranteed
months.
for new players or
Yes, so new
Why don't they shake up their dev team? I don't know. I don't know if it's that easy. I don't know if they could just do that. Thank you for 45 months, dude. You can pick up other people's traps. If you have the same trap, you can take other people's home with you. Yeah, that makes sense.
players, if they're below rank 11, they will encounter like the hunter bots as an opponent.
Savix, thank you for
so
20
it's something
months.
for them to kind of like experience and go through. And then obviously if you're being invited by a friend who might already be out there of that range, like you'll just have normal matches instead. So
Yeah.
but as a new player, and that means like if the entire team or you as a solo are qualifying, you will play against those bots for the first couple of matches and just have a nice interesting introduction from there.
Yeah, just to re-emphasize, it's until rank 11 only, not.
Yeah, I think that's gonna change. I'm making an official prediction that I think that's gonna change. It's gonna go from being rank 11 to being we'll only do it for the lower elos if your lobbies are empty, and then they're gonna switch it to just full on. If the servers are dead, you're gonna get bot hunters in your matches. That's my prediction.
Yes.
Okay. Do you see something you want to answer quickly? Also, could we ask to copy the early questions into the chat for us, because I saw a lot of questions, but of course
we only see the
newest ones. Okay, will the event FPGs, the Orwellian FPGs, alert when players are nearby?
So this the question comes, I think, from the direction of, is this like the altars we used to have?
Yeah.
No, these are not the altars returning. The Orwellian effigies are basically more like the scarecrows we had. So you just come across them, you destroy them for points. They might be like a little bit up on some points. For example, there's one on the Fool's Hideout right on the top, which might be a giveaway. If that's destroyed, someone might have been there already, so you want to approach carefully. And you'll find them scattered throughout the walls, and they just give you a few event points in addition. But there's no alert mechanic or anything attached to them. You just find them and you can destroy them for score.
Sounds good. Have there been any fixes with proximity chat? Yes, there will be some fixes in the update, but of course we have to test it in a big live environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it does include voice chat fixed,
Yeah.
multiple actually. So
Yeah, absolutely. There's been quite a big of an effort to kind of clean up some of the pieces there, make it a bit more reliable, etc. So yeah, again, please refer to the patch notes. You'll see all the details in there, and there's multiple entries for that as well.
I think I don't think, I'm gonna assume there's not gonna be any crazy what's it called, sniper 6-star Molten Snipers Kane bot. Imagine do they do a dev live stream for past events? They haven't done a dev live stream like this for, I don't know, what, 2 years or something, year and a half. They haven't done it in a long time. They used to do these for every update, but for whatever reason they stopped. I think they stopped so that they could do like videos. What they changed to doing was like a 10 or 15 minute video where they go over all these changes instead of a live stream. So they just must have thought that they didn't want to do it live anymore for whatever reason. Now they're going back. But we're gonna try to do something right now that I haven't tried to do in the past. This is a YouTube specific thing. So if you're watching on YouTube, I want to know how this is going to go, because I haven't done this before. I think you're going to get redirected to a new stream of mine. I'm going to try to do this. We'll see how it goes. What is supposed to happen is I'm going to end the YouTube stream, just the YouTube stream. The Twitch stream is fine. I'm going to end the YouTube stream. And then I think you're going to get pushed to my next YouTube stream, which is going to be for the finals. So I've never done this before. We're kind of just doing it live, and hopefully it works fine. So yes, if you're watching on YouTube, we are going to switch from hunt to the finals, and we'll see how it goes. So I think for now, the hunt portion is done, and we're gonna switch. So yes, bear with me for one moment, and let me see if I can make this happen live. Yes. So yes, lately we've been playing a whole bunch of the finals after we get done with hunt, and it is time. It is time right now. It is time for the finals. It's been a super fun, like alternate game to play, and we're doing it. We are doing it right now. If you haven't tried the finals, it's obviously very different from hunt, but with how smooth it is and how fun it is, it's been a damn good time. So it's also been really cool to see how many people that watch me also say, oh, I tried the finals, and you know, now they're trying it again because of me, which is pretty cool. So let's get into it really quick. I'm gonna have to do a couple things live, and hopefully everything works out well. So yes, if you're watching on YouTube, I believe you're going to get automatically sent to the next stream. I think that's how it's going to work. Tell me how it goes. Hopefully YouTube, Twitch is going to be totally fine. You shouldn't see anything different on Twitch, but right about nowish, you should get redirected to the new YouTube stream.